Variety's extraordinary journey started in the 1920s in Pittsburgh, USA, known then as the Furnace of America. Life in this steel city was grimy and relentlessly tough. But this was the Roaring Twenties, and Pittsburgh was also the birthplace, in 1927, of a social club formed by 11 men working in all branches of entertainment, and especially in the movie business. To reflect the range of their occupations, they called their club Variety, and started charity work by establishing a welfare fund. They held their first annual banquet in 1928, ingeniously installing a big top inside Pittsburgh's William Penn Hotel's Grand Ballroom to fit exactly the number of guests attending, and surrounded the tent with circus sideshows manned by barkers. That circus terminology has stayed with the charity to this day. Variety in the UK, for example, is run by a chief barker, and all members are known as barkers. The publicity surrounding that first annual banquet obviously caught the eye of a desperate mother, because on Christmas Eve 1928, in a cinema owned by one of the members of Variety, a little baby girl was found abandoned. A note pinned to her clothes read, "Please take care of my baby. Her name is Catherine. I can no longer take care of her. I have 8 others. My husband is out of work. She was born on Thanksgiving Day. I have heard of the goodness of show business people, and I pray to God that you will look after her." It was signed, "A Heartbroken Mother." The 11 members of Variety responded enthusiastically to that call, arranging for Catherine's homing, education, and finally adoption in New York State, well away from the glare of the publicity in Pittsburgh surrounding this amazing story, and allowing Catherine to disappear into anonymity and so to have a normal childhood. Her story inspired people all across the United States, and in the next 20 years, 35 branches of the Variety Club were established, carrying out fantastic work for disadvantaged children. Each branch was known as a tent, echoing that first big top which set this now global charity on its way. Maintaining its show business connections, it was movie moguls who brought Variety to Britain in 1949, as the country was rebuilding after the war. For both social development and health and fitness, boys and girls clubs had already been created. But there were many thousands of children facing additional huge obstacles that the newly formed Variety Club of Great Britain, Tent 36, could help them overcome. The film industry bosses brought their show business flair to the undertaking, as well as their influential contacts, and to this day, that has been the hallmark of Variety, the charity at the heart of show business. Celebrity endorsement of charities is now, of course, commonplace, but back in the early 1950s, it was a brand new idea, and Variety pioneered it, as it did so many concepts. Perhaps the most famous Variety concept is our Sunshine Coaches. Created in 1962 to get sick, disabled or disadvantaged children literally out into the sunshine, we have now provided almost 6,000 coaches to many children's organisations, and in particular to schools for children with special needs. Hundreds of thousands of children have now travelled millions of miles in these coaches, enabling them to be a real part of their community, to learn and to have fun. Also in the 1960s, Variety launched its Variety at Work programme, which arranges fantastic days out for children who rarely get treats, like visits to theme parks, pantomimes or the seaside. We arrange activities for children that make them feel really special, and we do this for more than 50,000 children every year throughout the UK. In the 1980s, Variety set about changing the face of mobility for disabled children and young people in Great Britain, hugely increasing their independence, freedom and dignity with wheelchairs, which have always been at the cutting edge of technology of their day. Today's are examples of remarkable engineering, but more importantly, they dramatically change lives. We've now provided more than 5,000 wheelchairs. Always the pioneer, in the early 1990s, Variety launched its Gold Heart programme, raising the idea of a charity pin badge to a whole new level. Created in Great Britain, this programme is now a part of Variety around the world and has raised more than $10 million to support children on every continent. From day one, Variety has worked tirelessly for sick children, and especially for neonatal babies, who very often are literally fighting for their lives. We've supported children's hospitals all round the country, including launching Great Ormond Street's Wishing Well appeal, with a donation of £3 million. And at the heart of this work is the world-renowned Variety Children's Hospital at King's College Hospital in London, currently undergoing a much-needed expansion. Never daunted, Variety is raising £25 million to carry this out. We help children's hospices too, where children and their families are facing the most distressing time imaginable. And day in, day out, Variety makes grants to answer the individual needs of individual children, where something simple like a sensory toy, a car seat to make a child feel safe, or even a silent trampoline for a boy who finds any noise unbearable can change the life of a child and those who care for him or her. We make grants to youth clubs too, funding equipment to help the clubs attract as many members as possible, in very many cases keeping youngsters off the streets and out of trouble. One of the country's leading children's charities for more than 6 decades, Variety now operates across the UK, with a small staff, hundreds of volunteers and a large number of dedicated corporate supporters. Our commitment and enthusiasm support children in an unrivaled range of ways. But the needs, sadly, never decrease, and raising the funds required to meet them is a challenge. It's a challenge to which we rise and always will do, because the impact we have is immeasurable. We improve young lives every day.
I mean, just from the bottom of our heart, I would say thank you, and I know if Freddie could thank you himself, he would.
Let's finish our story where we started, with Catherine Variety Sheridan. The founding fathers of Variety set out on their mission under the title "A Little Child Shall Lead Them." Well, indeed she did. Catherine, or Joan as she became, went on to lead a wonderful life, serving her country, raising a very happy family, and in her latter years, despite her acute shyness, promoting our charity around the world. It is therefore perhaps her who can best summarise the spirit of Variety the children's charity, with which it did something extraordinary.
Well, thank you for, how do you say it? Thank you for giving me the most wonderful parents that a child could ever have.